A recap of last week's games, a preview of upcoming opponents, and much more. Now, let's send it to the lobby of Bruner Dodge and join the voice of the Texans, Casey Hogan, who's alongside the 25th year head coach of the Tarleton Texans, Lonn Reisman.
Good afternoon from the lobby of Bruner Dodge on the corner of the South Loop and US 281 in Stephenville. Make sure you stop by. We'll be here till 12:30. Plenty of food courtesy of Cotton Patch Cafe. Refreshments and giveaways later in the half hour. Lunch with Lonn is sponsored by Bruner Motors. We want to thank them for their support in making the show possible. And Coach, congratulations. Your shirt almost came untucked, and that's usually a good sign for Tarleton.
Must be a tense game, Casey.
Well, congratulations on a serious note on your second conference tournament championship.
It was a great run. You know, I can't say how much the kids how focused they were, how hard they worked. You know, I think we're still to the point where we're almost out of breath still. I mean, because, you know, it's such a quick turnaround. You play that game on Saturday night, you get back home at 3:30 a.m. You have to go through all the NCAA calls and go through the selection show and see where you're going to play. And then on Monday, the NCAA calls and you're trying to get to Denver, Colorado, and you got to they kind of control everything from here on out. We don't control it, and so you're you're working with them on a daily basis.
Sure. Well, we'll talk about that trip to Denver in the next segment, Coach. Let's get things kicked off by recapping the Texans' exciting run in the Lone Star Conference Tournament. You open up the first round against number 6 seed Eastern New Mexico on Thursday. You win that game, Coach, 72-59, and your guys look very focused and ready out of the gate as they took an early 43-19 lead.
Yeah, you know, Casey, I thought our kids were very focused. I didn't expect to be in a halftime at 43-19. Because we know how explosive Eastern New Mexico is, and our guards are tremendous shooters, and we knew it was going to be a tremendous matchup between Chuck Guy and their point guard, and so you know, we just thought it'd be a tough grind game. But I thought, you know, our game plan was set. Coach Chris did a tremendous job of getting the game plan set, and our kids really focused in on the game plan. I thought they executed it really well, and you know, just, you know, that first game is a tough game to get through, Casey. Anytime you're playing tournament play, you know, one and done, you're done. And we knew what we were up against, and we knew how much we had to focus in and play this game, and we had a lot of respect for Eastern New Mexico. There's no doubt about that. And I thought our kids probably came out and played one of the best first halves they played all year long.
No doubt about it, and we know how dangerous Eastern New Mexico is.
No doubt.
You talked about Blackman and then Raphael Love. Well, Blackman got his. He had 26 points, but Raphael Love had a season low of 3 points, Coach, and he was 1 of 7 from the field. Did you feel like if you could slow down one of those two guys, you'd have a great chance to win?
And we really did, and I think Blackman even had 6 points at halftime, and I thought we did a tremendous job, you know. And of course, when you get down like they got down, then kids are going to be a little bit more relaxed because they know that they're going to have to go ahead and take shots. And I thought, you know, they hit some shots second half. They made their little run. You know, sometimes it's human nature. You get up 43-19. I wish I could bottle it and make sure that, you know, we could play the same half we played the first, but sometimes big leads make you relax a little bit, which you don't like as a coach. And you know, those are things that you try to instill in your kids, that you got to go out and play the game like you played the first half. I thought that and again, we know they're explosive. They came out, they hit some shots. We didn't hit some shots, but I thought, you know, we never got, you know, we still controlled the game in the second half.
With the win in the first round over Eastern New Mexico, the Texans earned a semifinals berth against number 7 seed West Texas A&M, a team that defeated Tarleton 6 days earlier in Canyon in the regular season finale. And Coach, 2 things that hurt you in that loss in Canyon: points in the paint and offensive rebound. In this game, you outscored WT by 18 in the paint, and you out-rebounded on the offensive glass. That was the difference.
Yeah, I thought, you know, the big thing, Casey, is that we were able to establish some inside. You know, I thought John Kathy Macklin just started the game off tremendously against them. I thought he got on the offensive boards. He started controlling the boards early. I thought that we established our offense early and had a great defensive game plan. And we told it, you know, we knew it was going to be a very physical game, and we knew we had to win you know, we had to really compete on the battle of boards. We knew that, and we had to stop their inside play because you know, over there the week before, Mason had 17 points that we just can't let that happen, because you always have Donovan Sims in there, and you know he's going to be really tough. And we knew if we could shut that off and control Keenan Washington, we have a chance to win the ball game. And you know, we got out to a lead, and you know, Rick's going to fight his way back, which Rick did. He fought his way back, and then we had a little spurt before halftime. I think we went up 30-21 or something like that. And you know, we just stuck with our game plan on that. And you know, Casey, I actually thought that might be the most complete game we played all year long. 20 minutes in the first half, 20 minutes in the second half. We really, you know, we just played a complete game.
And you outscored them by 9 in the second half.
Yes, and you know, that's why we came back after halftime. We have a 9-point lead. We go in the second half, and we continue to, you know, follow the game plan and get up big.
Coach, you hold Donald Sims, the Lone Star Conference preseason player of the year, to 2 points and 6 rebounds, and it really seemed to be a group effort, not just Kathy Macklin, but all the big men.
Well, and the game plan makes it a group effort, Casey, on the way that we play them. You know, I mean, first of all, yeah, we have to do a good job on him inside, but we do such a good job of shadowing him and getting people in a position where they can't get the ball into him, that they know they have to start making plays on areas that they're uncomfortable in. And when West Texas cannot get the ball inside, which they're such a great team inside, and Rick preaches that, if you can take that aspect away from their game and get them in an uncomfortable situation, then that helps.
With the 66-48 win over the Buffaloes in the tournament semifinals, that set up a rematch between two of the great rivals in Division II basketball, between the Tarleton Texans and the Midwestern State Mustangs. And Coach, it seems like no matter the road bumps in the regular season, what happens, it's going to be these two teams battling for the championship at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, it's become a really a tough rivalry. I mean, Midwestern has an outstanding basketball program. We do, and it seems like we're always in the big game together right now, and we split during the regular season, and they won over there, we won here, and we knew it was going to be a real battle in this ball game, and it's something that, you know, that our guys were really focused on. We knew that we weren't the same team that we were 8 weeks ago. We weren't the same team that started the conference off 2-5. We knew that we had made that change, and we stepped forward and we got better, and so what was really important to us is to see if we could carry the same type of intensity to that game as we did to the game that we won at home.
Sure.
And don't get me wrong, they brought a lot of intensity. They brought a lot of, they brought their will on us. We brought our will on them, and it just became a great championship game.
Did you feel a little bit extra pressure on your shoulders, Coach, since this was the fourth consecutive year you've been to the title game and you lost the first 3?
No, I don't think there's any doubt about it. I mean, you work so hard to get there, and all of a sudden I'm looking up there, and we've been to the championship game 4 years in a row. You know, I didn't even realize that we've been to the championship game 4 years in a row. It's just hard enough just winning one, but getting there 4 times, and then I think somebody came up to me and said, well, you know, you've been there 4 times in a row, but you've been there 5 out of the last 7. I said, well, that's even, you know, thanks for telling me. And so, you know, it's something that our program is used to. It's something that it's expected that we are going to get to a championship game. But I think it was very important for us to go win the championship game, and that meant a lot to us. You
trailed 29-25 at the half, and I know I talked to Coach Cantrell going into the locker room, and he felt like at times you lost your cool and made some fouls that were kind of uncharacteristic for your team. Is that something you addressed at that?
Yeah, I did. I said, you know, at halftime I wanted to make sure that we were more focused on the game than we were on other areas outside the game. You know, keep your composure, you know, keep your IQ up, stop worrying about what's going on out there, worry about the game, and let me worry about the other stuff. And I thought we did. I thought everything settled into it in the second half, because there was a lot of emotion to start to get. Sure. Tremendous amount of emotion that you could see at the start of the game.
And it really started to settle down on the first offensive possession of the second half as John Cathy Macklin got a hook shot in the lane. He was fouled. He hit the free throw. And what about John Cathy Macklin, Coach? What he did to Corbin Thomas, those 2 blocks. And Corbin Thomas, he didn't do that against a player that's inadequate. Corbin Thomas is one of the best players in the conference. He's
a very, very outstanding player in the conference. And, you know, a lot of people think he's the best postman in this league. And I think John Cathy Macklin showed that, you know, that he's a player that is getting a lot of recognition now, that he's stepping up to being one of the better postmen in our league. We know he's the best defensive player in the league. He's the defensive player of the year in the Lone Star Conference, which is a tremendous honor for him. But I like what he's doing, you know, on the offensive end too. He's getting some offensive rebounds. He's starting to score inside and give us a post present inside, and I'm happy and very pleased with the progress that he's showing this year.
You preach a lot. Obviously, your team is based around a strong defensive philosophy, Coach, because if you can play defense, you keep yourself in any game. This was a prime example, wasn't it? Because you didn't shoot the ball very well, 31%.
No.
But you only held them to 4 field goals in the second half.
Well, you know, I think, you know, I don't want to say this, but I thought, you know, after playing for 3 days in a row, probably our legs were a little bit tired in that ball game. I don't think there's any doubt about it. But give them some credit. You know, they played hard and we played hard, And you know, some shots weren't going down, but I've always said this, and you know this, defense can carry you to a championship. There's going to be some nights when the ball don't go in the basket, but you've got to win the game on that end of the floor, create some turnovers, make some easy baskets, and I thought our defense is what really pushed us through this whole tournament.
Now with 71 seconds left in the game, you trail 50-49. Chuck Guy penetrates the lane, kicks it out to the left side. Coleman first knocks down a three-pointer. It would end up being the game winner. And you told me after the game, Coach, you had no doubt that that shot was going to fall.
Well, you know, I know Coleman, the type of kid he is, and I know that I know the time he has put in the gym. That's a lot of time, and I was very happy for him. I can't think of I'd rather have it in anybody's hands than Coleman, and I'm just glad that the shot went up and he had that opportunity. You know, that was a big shot, but the shot clock was running down just before then, and Church had a big three, if you remember that one. So two back-to-back threes by two guys that just had to put the ball in the basket for us to win.
You know, Church had a nice tournament as well.
He did.
Now, your starting point guard, Chuck Guy. Speaking of nice tournament, Chuck Guy, 48 points, 20 assists, only 5 turnovers in 3 games. He's only the second Tarleton Texan ever to be named as the MVP of the Lone Star Conference Tournament. It was good to see Chuck get some recognition finally in Allen.
Yeah, you know, I mean, you know, I think he's one of the premier players in this league. He's probably one of the premier players in the nation right now. I mean, he's really come a long ways and adapting to our philosophy, and he's come a long ways in what we want, you know, understanding that what he can do within our offense, and he's done a lot. And so to see him on the first team all-conference team, and to see him the MVP of the Lone Star Conference Tournament, and you know, he's playing 40 minutes a game right now, Casey. I mean, he doesn't come out very much, and you want the ball in his hands when the time gets tough, and he's accepted that. He does not run. You know, some players will run away from that pressure, and Chuck does not run. He's going to take the big shot. He does not run away from the big play or the big pressure game.
And I'm still amazed by what he did against Eastern New Mexico. He played 39 minutes, had 8 assists and no turnovers. No turnovers in a playoff game.
Unbelievable.
With the win over Midwestern State in the Lone Star Conference Championship game, the Tarleton Texans have clinched their 10th trip to the NCAA Tournament in the past 12 seasons. When we return in 1 minute, Coach and I will preview the South Central Regional Tournament that will be hosted in Denver, Colorado. You're listening to the Tarleton Athletic KSTV Radio Network. Let's get the second segment started, I should say, by previewing the South Central Regional Tournament that's going to be hosted by the #1 seed Metro State in Denver, Colorado. It starts on Saturday, March 16th, the first round, and will end the regional finals on Tuesday, March the 19th. And Coach, Metro State, not a team, not a university that Tarleton's very used to. Talk about what you expect to see. We'll preview the game in the next segment, but I'm talking about facilities-wise and with this university in Denver.
Well, you know, they have a great tradition there too, Casey. Last time we saw Metro was in North Dakota in 2005, and we were all out there in the Elite Eight, so we know how good they are.
I think they lost to the national champions.
They did. They lost to the eventual national champions, and so and then last year they were in the Elite Eight, and this year they're 28-2. We know we have a tremendous chore in our hands. They got 4 starters back from a team that was defeated in the first round of the Elite Eight last year, I believe, and so got a great program. We have a lot of respect for their program. We've never played it before. Since I've been here, we have never, you know, traveled to Denver before and played up in that area. So, you know, it's a whole new time for our program to explore some other parts of the country. They moved us into the different, you know, we're in the South Central region, but they moved the MIAA, which is the Missouri schools, out of our region and moved the Rocky Mountain Conference into our region. Yeah, it's nice to do it. The thing I don't like about it is it's a tough trip for our fans to go to. And when we were up in Missouri, it's a lot easier to travel than you have to do going up into the mountains. And so you know, that makes it tough.
And Coach, it's going to be the longest trip you've ever had to take to a regional. I know that year in 2006 you went to Southwest Baptist. That's probably a 12 or 13-hour bus ride. But talk about your travel plans and how tough a trip this is going to be.
You know, we're going to leave at 5 a.m. in the morning, and we're going to go to West Texas, and we're going to work out in their facility tomorrow about 11 o'clock. And then we'll leave there around 1 in that area. Then we'll go the rest of the way to Denver, which is about 6 hours from there. So, you know, we're used to riding to Eastern New Mexico or Kingsville. It's a little bit longer, but I think that you know, that's not going to affect us.
Let's look at the tournament bracket in the South Central region and talk quickly about each of these games. The first game will come at noon on Saturday, March 16th. It's Fort Lewis, the number 19 team in the nation, 21-7 overall, against Adams State, 20-8 overall. This is a matchup between two RMAC teams. Coach, Fort Lewis defeated Adams State by 1 point in the RMAC semifinals, but Adams State won 2 of the regular season games this year, so that should be a fantastic RMAC battle.
It should be. I mean, teams don't like to play each other 3 or 4 times in 1 year. There's no doubt about that. That's one of the things that you catch every once in a while. You know, our ladies, our women are going to play Midwestern for the 4th time here in a couple of days, which is, you know, it's probably something that they would rather see somebody in another uniform. And so I imagine Adams State feels like that also.
The second game on Saturday at 2:30 p.m. Mountain Time, 3:30 p.m. Central tip-off between St. Mary's, the number 2 seed, the Heartland Conference champs, and Cameron, of course, out of the Lone Star Conference, 18-8 overall. And Coach Cameron lost in the first round of the tournament to West Texas A&M, and they're playing without their head coach, Wade Alexander, right now. And that's not an easy task in the postseason, I imagine.
No, it's not. You know, it's very, very tough on them, and you know, Wade will not be there. They got their, you know, their assistants taking over through this time as they search for a new coach, but. Yeah, it's going to be you know, they're in a tough situation.
The 6 o'clock game, of course, your Tarleton Texans, the 8th seed against Metro State, the number 1 seed. We'll preview that game in our next segment. Then the final game on Saturday, an 8:30 p.m. Mountain tip-off, 9:30 p.m. Central. It's Midwestern State, the Mustangs, 21-8 overall, the 4th seed against Newman out of Kansas, the number 5 seed, 20-7 overall. Coach Newman lost to St. Mary's by 14 points in the first round of the Heartland Conference tournament. This is their first trip to the NCAA tournament.
Right.
I can't speak for Midwestern, but they're playing a team that's lost 3 of 4. I imagine they like this draw in the first round.
I think so. I think so, Casey. I think that they feel good about it, and I think that you know, that St. Mary's is you know, been one of the better teams down there. Newman is excited about coming to their first tournament. It's you know, I think it's something in the Heartland Conference where I don't think they've ever had 2 teams in the Heartland Conference in this tournament. They usually been the team that, you know, got in after the automatic bid when we were in the old with the Missouri schools. So I think that's going to help a lot. I think it's going to help their confidence a lot.
And you've been in those shoes, making your first NCAA tournament. That's not an easy thing to do, is it?
It's, you know, at that first time, you know, there's a lot of nervousness to it, and you know, I think that they're going to have to explore all that.
Sunday, March 17th, the semifinals. The winner of Tarleton Metro State, Midwestern State, Newman will play 7:30 Mountain Time, 8:30 Central Time. And then the early game on Saturday, the winner of Fort Lewis, Adams State, St. Mary's, Cameron, that a 5 o'clock Mountain tip-off, 6 o'clock Central tip. And then the finals, a 7 o'clock tip-off Mountain Time. I'm trying to keep everything from getting confusing here because we're having to go so far away. There's a time difference, but the finals Tuesday night, 7 o'clock Mountain Time, 8 o'clock tip-off. That's the bracket in the South Central Regional.
And you're going to have to get used to that time change up there too, because it is in Rocky Mountain time, and you know, it's a little different for our fans on the time change. But I think, you know, something that, you know, we played at 7 o'clock all year long at home, so it's no different to us playing at 7 o'clock up there.
What about the altitude change for your players?
Well, I'm not going to say anything to them about it. I mean, I know they call it the Mile High City, but I mean, that's, you know, I keep telling them years ago they had the Final Four Division I tournament up there, and I don't, you know, all the teams played up there, so I'm not going to let them use that for an excuse.
When we return in 1 minute, Coach and I will preview the Texans' opening round matchup against Metro State when Lunch with Lonn continues right after this.
It's time.
Alongside the 25th year head coach of the Tarleton Texans, Lonn Reisman. And Coach, time to preview the opening round matchup against the number 3 team in the nation, Metro State. It's on Saturday, 7 p.m. Central Time tip-off. Coach, the Roadrunners, as you referenced to earlier, made the Elite Eight last season. They're 27-2. They've beat teams by a whopping 17 points per game on average. Does it get any tougher in the first round?
Probably not. I mean, it's, you know, I mean, they're playing on their home floor. They've had a great year. I mean, you know, they're probably very confident in what this game, you know, going into this game. But our kids are confident too. We just came off a big tournament in the Lone Star Conference. We have a great conference, and we have some outstanding teams in our league. And so, you know, I think anytime you're going to try to be the best, you're going to have to beat the best, and that, since they're the 1 seed, then we got to go. So sometime through this tournament, you got to go through them, and so might as well do it the first round.
Coach, you've never faced Metro State. By my count, they haven't played a team in the Lone Star Conference in over 5 years. How tough is it to prepare for a team like this?
Well, I think it's, you know, it's we don't get a lot of film on it, Casey. We don't, you know, it's hard to get a lot of people to talk to you because one conference doesn't want to talk to the other conference, and so we do have some film. We do have some, you know, we do have some scouting reports on them. We're still working on it on a daily basis, and I think we'll be as prepared as we're able to be prepared going into the game.
Their leading scorer is a Dallas-Fort Worth product out of Louisville High School. That's Brandon Jefferson.
Yes.
Coach, he's a 5'9" guard, averaging 15 points per game. What have you seen from Jefferson on film? Is he going to play more of the one or the shooting guard position?
I think he'll play a little bit of both. I don't think there's any doubt about that. He's I asked Chris about it the other day. Chris saw him play when he was in high school, but he's only about 145 pounds when he was in high school, and he's really, gained about 30 pounds, and he's really, matured in his body, and really had a great, having a great career at Metro.
And Jefferson might not be a big guy, but in their starting five, they have two 6'8" players,
yes.
Jonathan Morris and Nicholas Kay. They combined average 25 points and 15 boards per game. How do you feel like your big guys are going to match up to those?
Well, I think they're very, one thing that doesn't show on tape that I visited with the coach this morning out of Montebello, Danny Young, and he said they're a very physical team. Those guys are more physical than you think they are. On tape, they don't look as physical on. Do not be surprised, because when we played them, Morse is very physical, and he really posts up hard, and you don't realize it till game time.
Now, looking at their stat sheet, they have 5 players in the starting 5 who average over 10 points per game, but on the bench, Coach, they don't have one guy that averages over 3 points per game. Does that surprise you when a team's 25-2?
I think that they play their starters. If you look at their times, their starters play probably all in the 30s, and when you're going to give that much time to your starters, you're probably not going to see many of your guys come off the bench just playing 8 or 9 minutes, give you double-figure points. But they've been successful in the way they're doing things right now. So I guess that's our philosophy.
The Roadrunners don't shoot the 3 very often, Coach. They only have shot it 368 times this year. By comparison, folks, Tarleton shot it 470 times, but when they shoot it, they're 6th in the nation, 42% from the arc.
They really can. When they take their selected 3-point shots, they're usually pretty deadly with them, and probably the highest 3-point shooting percentage team that we played this year, Casey.
It's something we talked about after the win over Midwestern State. Coach, you're not happy just going to the tournament. You're going in to win this.
Exactly.
Even though you're playing a tough team like Metro State, you're playing with a lot of confidence. Put yourself in Metro State's shoes. You win the RMAC, go 27-2, and you got to play the Lone Star Conference champion.
You go to. That's why they call this March Madness, because you never know what's going to happen in March Madness. You never know what's going to happen. You got to believe that you can make the big upset.
So it's Tarleton and Metro State in the opening round of the NCAA Tournament. It's a 7 o'clock tip-off Central Time. If you're going to Colorado, 6 o'clock Mountain Time. Of course, you can catch the broadcast right here on KSTV-FM, the Mighty 93, a 6:45 pregame show. Coach and I will take our final break, and when we return, we'll wrap up this edition of Lunch with Lonn. You're listening to the Tarleton Athletic KSTV Radio Network. Probably our biggest audience of the year.
Really appreciate everybody coming out, especially on a day that is not normal for this show right here. So we appreciate their support all year long, Casey. That's what makes Tarleton so special, and our basketball program so special. It's just the people that follow it and really have they have a great feeling for it, and they have an ownership in it. And I want them to feel like that.
And that makes the difference, especially when you see that crowd at the Allen Event Center on Saturday.
Yeah,
unbelievable. There had to be at least 1,000 Tarleton fans there.
Great crowd.
So 2 great supporters of Tarleton basketball, ironically, get the draw this week to roll the dice. The first winner, Gerald Harmon. Gerald, come on down.
Gerald gets to roll the dice.
So Gerald's going to come on down and take the dice and roll and see what he's going to win. He could win a Tarleton Athletic t-shirt, Tarleton Athletic cap, an oil change, or car wash from Brunner Dodge. So Gerald takes the dice. What's the rules, Coach?
Can't skid it.
He's spinning it, and Gerald's going to win a Tarleton Athletic cap. So congratulations to Gerald. Our second winner, Cheryl Wolf. Cheryl, come on down. And Cheryl, probably at every Tarleton game in the Lone Star Conference Tournament, without a doubt. Great supporter of Tarleton basketball. So Cheryl's going to find Troy Jones and roll those dice.
Oh, here she goes.
Ron, cheer her on.
Okay. Ron's going to have to teach her how to roll that dice.
All right, Cheryl's going to roll the dice.
There she goes.
She wins.
What'd she get?
Gets a Tarleton Athletic t-shirt. So
and I think Red has it over there.
Congratulations to Cheryl and Gerald. Thank you to our live audience here at Brunner Dodge. The next broadcast of Tarleton Texan basketball Saturday from the Aurora Event Center in Denver, Colorado for the opening round of the NCAA Tournament. It's a 7 o'clock Central tip-off, 6 o'clock Mountain Time. Once again, the pregame show 6:45 Central Standard Time. And I'm going to go on my rant here. If you listen to the video cast online, mute the video cast, listen to the radio broadcast.
There you go.
Because we bring it to you, and of course, we are the Tarleton Athletic Radio Network, and we'll also have Coach Lonn Reisman in the post-game press conference. We'll carry that live, so make sure you tune in on Saturday. The next broadcast of Texan basketball Friday from the Brownson Arena in Grand Junction, Colorado, the opening round of the NCAA Tournament. The Texans tip off at 3:30 p.m. Central Time, 2:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time against number 2 seed Midwestern State University. That pregame show starts at 3:15 Central Time. For tournament information, visit cmutickets.com. If you can't make it to Denver or Grand Junction, of course you can listen to every broadcast of Texan and Texan basketball right here on KSTV. And that should be a good game. As you know, because you had this scenario with Midwestern 3 years ago, it's tough to beat anyone 4 times.
And I hope they go out there and get it done. I think they will. I think they've been preparing all week, and I think our kids will play a great game against them.
The Texan softball team 11-11 on the season. They continue Lone Star Conference action this weekend against Texas A&M Kingsville. There's a doubleheader on Friday with a 5 o'clock first pitch, followed by the season finale at noon on Saturday from the Tarleton softball complex. The Tarleton Texan baseball team on a season-high 4-game winning streak. They're 11-6-1 overall. The bats finally came alive, Coach.
And I think the pitching's been great all year, and now the bats coming alive, and I think you're going to see great things out of our baseball program.
Coach Conger's squad opens up Lone Star Conference action on Friday against Eastern New Mexico. First pitch set for 3 p.m. Then that series continues with a doubleheader on Saturday starting at 1 p.m. The series finale at 1 o'clock on Sunday. Coach Doyle and the Texans out in Palm Desert, California for a 2-day tournament.
Real rough life, isn't it?
I was
real rough.
I was joking around with someone last night. I go, I'd love to beat Jerry Doyle. I think he's sitting out on his patio over the golf course right now.
He goes and recruits the best players in the country. Then they go out there and just win tournaments. And he goes and he walks around out there like, you know.
I guess when you've been to the Elite Eight, what?
I can't say that. I mean, the guy does a great job, and he has a great program. And I mean, they're very deserving, man. And they got another great team this year.
Of course, for up-to-the-minute updates and results, visit tarletonsports.com. Our next show will be on Friday, March 22nd, right here from the lobby of Bruner Dodge. Once again, we want to thank Bruner Motors for sponsoring the show. Thanks to Cotton Patch Cafe for providing today's food. Thanks to Lorena Rodriguez back at the KSTV studios for producing the broadcast, and to our engineer, Mr. Justin McClure. Last but not least, thanks to our entire live audience here at Bruner Dodge, and in each of you listening on KSTV, the Mighty 93, and online at KSTVFM.com. Coach, quickly, you're going to be the obvious underdog on Saturday night in the opening round, facing the number 3 team in the nation. Is that a role your team started to embrace late in the year?
I think, Casey, I'll tell you what, I'm looking at it's March 13th and we're still playing. And anytime you're still playing and it's almost half this month is over and you're looking at April right in the face, you know you've done some great things, your team's done some great things, and I don't think that we'll be intimidated at all. We have been in the NCAA tournament now 10 out of the last 12 years. And I think we embrace going on the road and going up there and making maybe the biggest upset, you know, that probably people think this is. But I think I look for us to really go up there and play well and have an opportunity to win this game and move on to the next round.
Coach, congratulations on another outstanding season. Best of luck this weekend in Denver.
Thank you, Casey.
That's going to do it for this 11th edition of Watch the Ball. Make sure you tune in on Saturday night as the Texans take on the Roadrunners of Metro State University. For the 25th year head coach of the Tarleton Texans, I'm Casey Hogan, saying so long, everyone, from Bruner Dodge in Stephenville. Until next time, have a great week, everyone, and we'll talk to you on Saturday from Denver, Colorado.